Welcome to another Two Whatever's Way Up. I'm your host Jesse. Today we have the horror hope.
And the
I
appropriate shirt.
I know. I am repping my brand here. So
Mm, yep, and the Pitchmaster General.
I'm here. I'm ready.
Mhm.
Let's talk about the industry.
Yes. Yeah, let's talk about the industry. Yeah, through the lens of a show that I was begged to watch, and I finally did. Barry. I finally watched it. I finished it. I blew through it in about a week because I just couldn't stop watching it. Um, Man, I miss half-hour episodes on shows.
Ooh.
I miss that. That was always great. Yeah, so Seth, you were on me to watch this for the longest time.
I was.
Yeah, and I now see why.
Yeah, this was one that so my SNL era, like when you first get into SNL as a teenager because you want to like be a grown up and act out. That
Yeah.
Bill Hader was my era. It was the Andy Samberg,
Mhm.
Fred Armisen, Bill Hader era. So
mhm.
anytime they've gone on to do things, I'm there for it. Popstar, never stop, never stopping. Like I saw that in theaters. I was one of the few people who showed up for that one.
I was about to say that was a sleeper.
Yeah, total sleeper. So I was not going to sleep on Barry. It was
Mm.
HBO, and this is just before all the streaming malfunctions out of them. They primed us for this show. Bill Hader's doing a dark comedy. That was the
Mhm.
pitch.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm in from episode 1, watched all the way through the end, and I was like, this might be better than Breaking Bad. This might top out The Sopranos for me. This might be some of my favorite TV ever. And so I had to get you two to watch it with me, and I really appreciate you doing 4 seasons for me.
They're quick seasons though.
Yeah.
It's only 10 episodes a season,
8
half
episodes.
hour or 8 episodes. It's eight episodes, yeah.
Yep.
Um yeah, it's not a long show. And god damn is it dense though.
Wow, they pack a lot in. Jesus
Oh yeah.
Christ.
Yeah.
Oh
I
my god.
I was about to say I unfortunately have only got through 2 seasons of it. But I mean, I'm not going to stop. I'm going
Oh,
to keep on
Yeah.
plowing through, but I just it yeah, it's so good. I know I saw like before I had HBO, would see like random episodes that like my friends would be watching at the time. So I would get like little bits
snippets. Yeah.
here and there, and I loved it. But again, I was like, well, I don't have HBO. And it's more until recently that I've had HBO now, thanks to Jesse.
You're welcome.
That I But there's so much content on HBO. It was
Yeah.
like
And a lot of it's really good.
yeah, and the thing is like it was one of those that was like always on my list to go back. It's just but now it was like, okay, oh well, I'll get to that. Well, I'll get to that. And then like now
Yeah.
I had the excuse to like, okay, now I can get to it. But and I couldn't rip through it like Jesse did.
Mhm. Well, I had a bunch of time off from work, so I was like, well, I have nothing else to do. So I'll just
Yeah.
sit
And
here and watch Barry.
Well, and it's one of those shows that it is entirely bingeable because the episodes are so cinematic. Like you don't get the eye soreness of like repeat sets, repeat images, all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
It's really
Mhm.
easy to cruise through and watch. But I honestly think Hope taking her time through it is a good way to do it because it is so dense. Because like it's one of the few shows where I watch the recaps even if I'm like binging it. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
right, be what is important here. Like keep it fresh in my head because we're gonna clip for the next half hour.
Mhm. Yeah. And also the fact that it's Bill Hader against type. People typically cast him
Yeah.
as a comedy type, and is it a comedy? Yes, sort
To an
of.
extent.
Yeah, it gets really dark in that last season. That last season gets so dark.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
comedy
hope is not there yet. It gets yeah.
for where Hope is right now, I think a lot of the comedy is built into the situational assassin comedy of like, what if you got paired with a
Yeah.
dumbass, or
I was
what if you got
well, also a lot of it too is coming from NoHo Hank.
oh my
Oh god.
god.
Like he is
The
my
best character.
yes,
Oh god.
that is my boo, my love, my passion right there. I love
Yes.
him. That and I love that he's like when they're on it was in season 2 when they're on the bus and he's just like apologizing because he's and, and I just love the fact that he's like, I hope that I see you guys in heaven because then I could just like gather to you, have you come over for sandwich, and like I was like, you're even planning dinner parties in heaven already, like,
Dude, what if Steve Carell was Gustav Frey? Like
oh my god.
that's his character. That is straight up his character. It's like I just want to hang out with my homies, but also we're gangsters and we have to do gangster shit.
Yeah. And right as soon as they get
Yeah.
off the bus, he's like threatening the guy that attacked him, and then his other buddy's like shooting him in the head, and he's like, "I was gonna get to that." Jesus
Marebeck,
Christ.
yeah, Marebeck.
Yeah, Marebeck. God. They all leave Hank behind because they're just like, yeah, fuck
Well,
you.
you guys want no place? I got the place. I'll get you guys place. It'll be really great.
Oh
Oh
god.
man, yeah, yeah. NoHo Hank, just that's how you execute like a Jar Jar Binks. That's how you do that kind of character that's
Yeah.
always getting in the
Yes.
way, but like you like them. You're supposed to like the comedy that they're adding. Like the way he talks about his dating problems to Barry in the middle of like, we're killing people, we're like setting people up. Also, I need to talk about my love life real quick, and just he's so cute.
He just has no understanding of timing. It's just- like
Damn.
what the guy that he's gonna get the guy that he wants to snipe from a distance, and NoHo is calling and being like, "No, we need you to go and
Deliver the
kill this
bullet.
guy right. Deliver the bullet right now." It's like, seriously? Why? It's
Well,
just-
it's a plan we've been workshopping for a while. It's gonna be really great.
oh god, oh Jesus Christ. God.
I love the way that he represents producers. Like his character
Yes.
when you're working with a producer and it's
Oh my
like,
gosh.
here's the plan.
Mm,
Sideline. We had to have a
mm,
better idea coming. I love it.
yep. Can we
Oh
talk
my
about his love interest? God, remember her name? Is it Sally?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sally.
Sally, yeah.
Sally Reed.
Yeah. So one of the best characters I think has ever been written on television because she's clearly an emotionally abused woman,
Mm,
clearly dealing with a lot of trauma, and Hope's not quite there yet, but she falls back into that trauma pretty bad later on, and
Yeah.
it's pretty bad.
she's a narcissist, like a straight up
Dude.
textbook cannot get out of her own way narcissist.
Yeah.
This is the character that deserved the hate that Skylar got in Breaking Bad. Like this
Yeah.
character deserves the hate that Skylar
I-
ended up getting.
I was gonna
Skylar was kind of irritating sometimes, but rightfully so. Just like she
Yeah.
had every right to be annoyed.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas
It's
Sally
meth!
is just like, yeah, Sally is like,
she wears it on her sleeve.
Yeah, she does.
yeah, there's seriously something wrong with Sally. And that's kind of the issue with all these characters, that all of them are damaged in some way, especially
Oh, yeah.
Barry. Like,
Oh,
why
God.
does,
I just want to give
God.
him a hug.
Right.
yeah, like, why does Barry snap so much? Why does he have this
Right.
anger problem? And it's,
Mm,
they really get into it in the later seasons, and it's mainly Stephen Root's character that
Oh yeah.
drove that into him.
right.
Well, I was
'Cause
gonna say,
there was-
the entire series, all he says is, "I created you. I created you. I created
Yeah.
you." Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck did you do to create him?
Oh, you'll get to it. They'll get to it.
I know, but
Dude.
as you watch, and it's
Yeah.
it's-
Fuchs's development across the series is so good. Like
Mhm.
and being
we'll
two
break it down
seasons
season
in,
by season.
Yeah. So in season 1, we're introduced to him as this like borderline bumbling mastermind, right? Like he's
Yeah.
he
He's his handler, but he's not handling him very well.
right.
Mhm.
And he's so toxic, he talks a man to death. Like if that is not a
Oh
like
god.
a delivery of what this character is, because he can't shut up. And in season 2, as Barry starts to break away from him, he starts to lose his sense of self because his object is repelling him, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Into the later seasons, he transforms himself, and it is wild to behold the character
Well,
that we
okay,
get.
what's season 3 and 4 breakdown of Fuchs?
So 3 is his
It's kind of
kind
a
of
spoiler, but
I
you know.
we're gonna
he,
spoil it for the audience. You can spoil it for me. You can spoil it. Well, you
Oh,
know.
okay, all right.
so 3 is Barry grows some balls and Fuchs gets sent to prison, and then
Yep,
4 is Fuchs gets out of prison.
yeah.
Hmm.
And
He's not just sent to prison; he is uh,
buried
beaten
under the prison.
over. He
I
is
do
beaten,
remember like
and
that
yeah,
one episode I happened upon was like he was in prison. So I do
Yeah.
remember Stephen Root's character like in a prison jumpsuit. Like that
yeah.
was one of the episodes I like happened upon, but
He gets his shit kicked in, and this is almost worth this show being a mind brain movie crossover too, because this is where my psych degree goes crazy
yes.
when everyone thinks that the way to beat a narcissist is to kick their shit in, right? Like give them a taste of their own medicine.
Hmm.
No, that sends a narcissist through an opposite ego death in which they become more powerful than you could have ever imagined. It is Obi-Wan but evil. It is if you strike me where I stand, I will come back more powerful. And dog, he comes back with the full game under his belt. What a growth from he's so bumbling at the beginning. He's such an
Yeah,
idiot in season 1. And for him to
he
hit
really
that is
is.
such a I've never seen character growth like that in a villain before. Ever.
Yeah, to the point where he's basically running the entire Chechen mob by the time he gets out of prison.
Yeah.
It's
Tatted
like,
head to toe, skinhead shooting people mid conversation. It's like, where did this Fuchs come from?
yep,
Yeah, that's a
mhm,
180 for sure.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, so great.
yeah.
So what's your impression of him where you're at right now, Hope? Fuchs specific, he's kind of become my favorite on my second watch through
Yeah.
because he's so evil. He's so evil. What's your impression of him?
I would say a lot of my impression of him was again like for the first two seasons he's saying, I created Barry. You can't do this. He beats him down, so he's like really abusive,
Yeah,
and he's supposed to be like also the father figure. So it's like what are you doing? Usually when you want a son type, you adopt a kid, you
right,
don't beat this shit out of him, you know? Um I don't know. I see like the bumblingness, especially when he talks himself into these situations. In
right.
season one, he was like,
Foot and mouth
"Oh,
disease.
Cristobal actually is crazy and horrible and hates people." Blah, 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 like, and then the Chechens are like, "He's the nicest fucking guy. What the hell?" And same thing. He just always talks himself into these situations, and he just puts his foot in his own mouth. And it's only not until the very end when he plants when he takes Henry Winkler's character Gene
Gene. Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
show
yeah,
his girlfriend and everything, and he like plants that message like this is all Barry. You
yeah.
know,
Mhm.
like I said, I just finished season 2. So like the last image you see is Gene like sitting up in bed and he's like, "Oh my gosh." And then you know,
Right. Do
Oh,
you
it gets way darker in season
yeah.
3.
Oh, I'm sure. No, it's setting up for darkness. 100%.
do you guys see any parallels between Fuchs and Gene as Barry's mentors? I used a Star Wars metaphor a minute ago, and it's because I see them as like mirrors to each other, and I love the way they inform each other across the show. We're big fans of Henry Winkler here too.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Love,
yeah.
love, 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 love him.
We all love the Fonz. Yeah.
Right.
I prefer the lawyer from Arrested Development. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Money, please. My money.
No,
That's
oh
Parks and
no,
Rec.
that's Parks and
Was that
Rec.
part? Oh, that Parks and Rec. Oh shit, that's
Yeah,
Parks.
he's
Very
I don't know
similar
why.
character. He plays
They're
very
very
similar
similar
character.
characters. They're very similar
I
characters.
was gonna
Yeah.
say in Parks and Rec, he is the gynecologist
That's right.
and
That's right.
OB obstetric
That's right. That's
and
right.
who's the father to Jean Ralphio and Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I
It's
got
like,
those two mixed up for a sec.
Daddy, I do no wrong, and I love you. And he's like, yes,
Mm.
I know you're
You're
perfect.
perfect, and I love you.
Yes.
Here's $500.
Yeah.
Money,
Isn't
please.
isn't that actress the same person that went on to make Marcel the
Yeah,
show
that's
with
the
the
voice
Yes.
of
shoes on?
Marcel. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Yep.
right. That's right.
I love that
Yeah,
movie.
that's
I
so
love her
good.
stand up. It's so wholesome. She's got this bit about football players where she like talks about them being best friends and like talking in the
Yeah.
lockers and kicking their feet and stuff like that. It's so funny.
Oh, jeez. She
Yeah.
doesn't seem like a filthy comedian at all. So
No, very, very wholesome overall. Um,
nice.
our wholesome character NoHo Hank as our kind of parallel to Barry. How does
Hmm.
that strike you guys?
I f-
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
yeah. I feel like they represent like how Barry is like more withdrawn, NoHo's like very open, where it's more of like a balance than a mirror, I would say.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Th-
It's like they're it's one of those like, oh, I wish I could be more like you because of this. Oh, I wish I could be like you because of this, and
yeah,
mhm.
exactly. They're
And they
like,
just keep ending up in the same place at the same time. Yeah, they just can't get away from each other. Even
it,
throughout the whole series, they just cannot get away from
that
each other.
wedge string of destiny, just like
Yeah,
right,
just can't
so
get away from it.
Shakespearean, man.
Yeah. I will say in terms of Barry himself, like this is very against type for what Bill Hader usually does.
Yeah,
This is so against type.
up
I've
until
always
he was in it.
oh yeah. Well, there's that little thing at the end of the final episode, Seth, where the kid from It um plays his son. I think
yeah.
is yeah, the younger version of him from the first
Oh,
It
Finn
movie is
Wolfhard,
no, not Finn Wolfhard. It's the other one. What's the other kid's name? I can't remember
I
his name.
forget.
Anyways, it's
the one who plays
one of the
himself.
yeah, because the kids from the It movies they chose their adult
Yeah, I know.
counterparts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I swear it was Finn Wolfhard.
it's not Finn. It's not Finn.
What what are you
I
talking
don't.
about?
It has been so long since I saw the It movies.
Yeah, I've forgotten about them. But anyways, it's one of the kids from the It movies. And anyways, it feels like this is so against type for what Hader usually does. I've always said that comedians make really good actors because they can always find the perfect balance of
Yep.
emotional tone. And this is a great example of Hader just being a very angry, aggressive person. There's a lot of moments where he just snaps for no real reason, just
Yeah.
kind of loses it. Especially in the later seasons, he loses it on Sally. One time in the office, I was like, wow, that came out of nowhere.
Dude,
Wow.
that whole subplot is excellent. Just like
Hmm.
how to speak up in the industry when you see something go wrong.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Just
Yeah.
really important lessons. I think the thing that impresses me most about him playing against type here is not just the fact that the personality is so different, but it's the range of this personality he has to show because he has to show Barry on and off stage across different parts of development, across his development as an actor. So he has to play bad acting Barry on stage and then act that well.
Hmm.
Like that is such a high bar to jump over to convince the audience this is what bad acting looks like from a good actor who when he stops acting bad needs to be convincing as his character. Like that's a jump. That is so many different like emotional levels that he has to run through just between takes as they're setting up the character. That
Yeah.
and it's no wonder he surrounds himself with all this like acting talent of people who can manage that kind of thing and go, "Okay, yeah, absolutely. We need to be funny. We need
Hmm.
to be serious. We need to have good acting and show bad acting, and just it really pushes things out to the edge of its range. And I think it really makes a good statement for like why it was important to do this show so cinematically, like to
Yeah.
shoot it the
Yeah.
way it's shot, to have the the long takes sometimes that they do in it, to have some of the over the topness, like when he goes to take out the karate champion and gets to
Oh
take
Oh
my
God.
daughter.
Oh my god, can I just say she was like the best part. He's like, especially when she flies off of the
What the
car
fuck is
roof,
she?
and then he's like, "What are you?"
Yes.
And he's like stuck. She's like stuck on a chain. He's like, "I can't, I can't get her off. I can't get her off."
Oh god. And I did actually just check real quick. It was the kid's name from the It movies. It was Jaden Lieberer. That's his name. He played Bill, not Richie. That's right.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I stand
Okay,
corrected. I
I was
stand
like, I
corrected.
It was one
swear
of them
Finn
Stranger
Wolfhard
Thing
played
kids.
Richie.
Yeah. I think as Finn Wolfhard was doing the Ghostbusters movies or
Yeah,
whatever. I don't
yeah.
whatever, I don't care.
Man, kids
Uh
get work.
yeah. But yeah, that the karate champion. That's god, what the hell's the guy's name? It's oh god, he was in the Matrix movies. He was in John
Oh
Wick.
yeah, 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 yeah. I know
Oh
who you
god,
mean.
the hell's his name?
I don't
And
know.
that episode,
Anyways.
to get to my point, that episode is like a straight up Jeremy Saulnier movie or something like that. Like it is presented
Yes.
so aggressively like real for what violence looks like. It just
Mhm.
sometimes it's goofy and sometimes it's not awesome. And sometimes it's
Mhm.
not well choreographed, and then sometimes it is, and sometimes you get really, really cool moments because of that. And
Yeah.
then the heart of that episode is Barry realizing that Fuchs doesn't give a shit about him. Fuchs does
Mhm.
not give a shit
Yeah.
about him at all.
Yeah. Oh, it was Daniel Bernhardt. That's right. That's his name.
Bernhardt,
Daniel
yeah.
Bernhardt. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I also can I just note the number of cameos that show up in this show? It's just like
Yeah.
friends of Hater. Just okay. I don't. You haven't gotten to this, Hope.
Just it's
When
you're fine. Go.
when Guillermo del Toro showed up as the head of the mafia,
Yeah.
that was just the best. That was the best. Just shows up for like he's in like 2 scenes
Yeah.
and he's gone.
He's
Like-
been doing that on TV a lot lately, where he just shows up as like a bit character. Did you guys see him on It's Always Sunny when he plays the
Oh,
head
yeah.
of McDaniels? He's got that
God.
powerful look. You know what I mean? He's
Yeah.
patriarchal looking.
Yeah.
He's had me
Wait,
ever since No Country for Old Men. Like,
Oh yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
I'm sorry. not I'm
Was he in that?
no. I'm not thinking
Wait.
of.
What are you
Guillermo
talking
del-
about?
I don't know. I'm thinking of Benzino. I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. We're talking about the director of Crimson Peak and all that stuff.
Yeah. Sorry, I was.
Yeah. No, it's all good. It's all good. But yeah, listen to like the number of cameos we have. Like John Hamm shows up for like a single shot. Jay Roach is in there. Annabeth Gish, who's in the later seasons for like 2 episodes.
Bunch of
Joe
SNL
Montana.
cameos.
Yeah, Michael Ironside, Vanessa Bayer, Fred Armisen shows up. Oh god, the Fred Armisen. Oh my god.
Well, I
Can we
was
talk
gonna
about the
say,
Fred Armisen scene?
Fred Armisen.
Oh my god.
He works with Bill Hader so much. He had to have made a cameo. Like,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
His
Yeah.
bit is so over the top. I love it.
It's a single scene and it is so over the top. It was floating around TikTok for a while. Everyone kind of just watched it like, what the fuck is this show? It's just yeah. I think that's the end of season 3. I think it's the end of season 3.
That is
Yeah.
Okay.
end of season 3.
Yeah. Oh god. It's fucking hilarious. God damn it.
It's just
Oh.
it's so funny that there's so many hijinks within this super dark, seriously toned crime show.
Yeah, it's in many ways. I think that it's kind of a counterbalance to things like Breaking Bad or The Sopranos or The Wire, which take themselves very, very, very seriously. And
Yeah.
I think Hader was kind of like, does it always have to be like grim and depressing and
Right.
miserable? And like, does it always have to be that way? Because there's a lot of funny shit that happens in The Wire.
Yeah.
They just don't highlight it because it's The Wire.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
But it still
So-
happens, you know? Like
but it still happens.
Hope, what shows are you being reminded of as you're watching through? Like, what is this? Are you feeling its influences?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like what it reminds me of, because it has so
It's very
many
unique.
different- Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's so its own thing that it's hard to say I'm like reminded of certain things. You know, I mean,
Atlanta, I think, is the closest tonally to this that I've seen. They're talking about
Yeah.
very
hmm
different things, but
right.
like the closest visual palette, the closest like tonal shift between like what can be like really surrealism
hmm
into realism, that kind of spread. There's an episode of Atlanta where it's not Michael Jackson, but it's like it's Michael Jackson, and they're buying a piano from him, and it's presented as a horror movie. And
Yeah.
that episode in particular is like very Barry vibed. And if I remember correctly, I think a couple of the directors jumped between these
Oh,
shows.
really? Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. Yeah, because it seems like this isn't necessarily a high tiered show. There wasn't like a huge budget for this show, and there's not a huge budget for Atlanta either.
No.
So this is kind of like a mid level show where it's like it gets by mainly because the ratings are good enough to keep it going, and the actors are dedicated enough to keep renewing their contracts.
Yeah.
hmm
So yeah, and also only going 4 seasons, perfect. Like you only needed 4 seasons. There's
Yeah.
You don't need more than that.
I was
I'm
gonna
very
say,
happy.
like, seeing the episode count, like, and it's 8 episodes per season for 4 seasons, and again, I like a show that knows when to stop. If it's a good show, it doesn't need to be long. Like Ted
Mm,
Lasso, 3 seasons. You know, this was
yeah.
4 seasons. You know, Righteous Gemstones is only 3 seasons. Like, if you know how to stop, I'd rather take quality over quantity. I'd rather have,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, no offense to One Piece fans, but like I would rather, you know, it's
A lot of filler in there.
I love One Piece. Do not get me wrong. I love One Piece, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
bro.
It is always a commodity to have a show that you can see the end in sight. Absolutely, I agree with
Yes,
that.
I would
Yeah.
and that's what I like about this cuz like I can also gauge a story arc better that way. Like
Yeah.
like a true story arc. And me now watching it while everything's finished, you know, I'm watching it a little bit quicker, not years in between, so I
Mm,
can like see that faster like I don't know. I like that because if it's too many seasons, I'm like, okay, where the fuck are they gonna go now? Then it's gonna be like
yeah.
180 to what the story is.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think about
Yeah.
shows like Supernatural where like the so many
Oh
great
God.
ideas in there, but just so much of it.
hmm
20 seasons, bro.
The episodes are
Why?
long. There's a lot of episodes in a season,
I was
and
gonna say
like,
I was gonna say if you didn't say Supernatural, I was going to.
yeah, yeah.
That and the people that are saying like, "Oh, is there going to be a revival?" Dude, the show just ended. Like, what? Why? Like, wait, enough. You want more? Like, Jesus
It's an
Christ.
embarrassment of riches.
Yeah, if you say so. Okay. Okay, can we talk about Bill Hader's directing ability and how that first
Ooh.
episode was literally the very first thing he'd ever directed?
Was
The
it
very first thing.
really?
That was the very first
Wow,
thing
I
he'd
didn't know
ever
that.
directed. I don't know how he got the clout to do that. I don't know how he got the money to do that,
My
but
guess is
damn.
he's a super nice guy in real life. He's worked on movie sets his whole life. He used to be a PA on like Schwarzenegger films and stuff before he was
Oh
even
yeah,
in
what's
SNL.
the famous story? The last thing he did. What was the last job that he did? What was
I think
that?
it was
He has
True
this
Lies
famous
or something
story.
like that.
Yeah.
I think he was
I
a
mean,
PA on True Lives, and he's got like an Arnold Schwarzenegger story about I like that you take command or something like that. Um, but yeah, that I bet he called in a lot of favors, and I bet he
Well,
brought in a lot of people
I
that
was
knew what they were doing. And because directing, you don't have to know the technical side if you have people there that know it. Directing is all about the performances and knowing what you want in that footage.
I was gonna say one of the
mhm.
first people he worked with was Seth Rogen, and Seth Rogen is a major producer now.
Yeah.
So that in and of itself, if you
Again,
just
another one
called
in it
him
since
up,
he was a kid. Imagine what he learned on Freaks and Geeks just
yeah.
whenever he was bored and paid attention to the crew, like
Yeah.
yeah, I can see it. Jason
You've
Bateman's
always.
another one that like just
Oh
spent
yeah,
his
that's
whole
right.
life on set, so when he started directing, it just makes sense that he's probably pretty good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great episodes of Ozark, except for that last one. That you motherfucker.
Dude, I was just making that joke on the way up to Seattle yesterday. I was like, we were talking about Ozark, the opening of it specifically, and I was like, man, what a great show. Too bad they never shot that last episode.
Oh,
Damn, man, they never got around to it. Man, that sucks.
Woof.
It's not as bad as Dexter, botching the ending twice.
what about Game of Thrones?
You could.
What about the other HBO show, Game of Thrones?
Let's
that
give them
book will
Star
come
Wars.
out eventually, and we'll get all the answers, won't we, George? Someday. Whatever. Anyways, so yeah, like Bill Hader as a director. Goddamn, this is incredible. Oh,
Yeah.
by the way, Seth, you mentioned Seth Rogen. You've always said that the thing you want is a spinoff of Superbad with the two cops, with Bill Hader and Seth Rogen. You've always said you want that. I would love to have that. Like,
Yes.
yeah,
That was.
I want to
it
see
now.
those two. I want to see those two cops 20 years later, still beat cops, just not knowing what to do with their lives.
That's the dream. That has legit been the dream since Superbad came out.
Yeah.
That is where I fell in love with Bill Hader. Was
McLovin.
That is where I
Dude.
fell in love with him, and ever since that day, I'm like, he needs to be in more. He needs to be in more. He needs to be in more. And like, now there's so much of him, and I'm like, oh, I'm so happy he like became who he is.
Him and Danny McBride and Hot Rod. That's the pairing that really unites all this.
I love the fact that we keep mentioning the same people, like, you know, Seth Rogen, Danny McBride, Bill Hader, Jason Bateman. They're all started out doing like comedy.
Yeah.
Now they're like, Danny McBride was in like the Alien movie, and he's doing Righteous Gemstones. Jason Bateman did Ozark, which too bad they never shot that last episode. You know, Seth Rogen is now producing The Boys. Like, they've all gone off in these really dark directions, but they still have levels of comedy in all their work. And Invincible, that's right. Yeah, there's still all this great stuff, and they just knew how to work the business. And I've heard that generally they're all nice people.
Yeah.
So it's paying off for them as opposed to being dicks.
Keep your head fucking on straight. Stay married to your wife. You know what I mean? Don't be a fucking asshole. This is easy stuff.
Drop toxic people when they need to be dropped.
Seth Rogen for me will always be top tier because he puts his money where his mouth is, and he dumps actual like production into his charity stuff. Yeah. So anytime like he's been doing a yearly like charity comedy special with artists that he knows, and just he puts his money where his fucking mouth is, and that tells me what kind of a person he is on the inside, you know. And those kinds of people working together, you're going to get great stuff. Danny McBride doing Righteous Gemstones feels so similar to what Bill Hader's thinking here.
Yes.
With, you know, if for another like HBO parallel, they're talking about the same kinds of things. Like, take a look at your industry, and everybody in leadership's probably a shithead.
Yep.
You're criminal, non-criminal, doesn't matter. Everybody's probably a little bit of a shithead.
Yeah. To spoil something in the later seasons, when Sally finally gets her Netflix show, and the producer of the show cancels it right after it gets put up on Netflix.
Oh no!
The producer that oh my god, I can't remember what this actress's name is, but she plays the biggest piece of shit producer. So accurate, so accurate.
Gosh.
The algorithm wasn't really tracking very well with your show, so we had to cancel it. Sorry. And just leaves the room. It's like, okay. It's like, yeah. For a show that's not very good, that gets terrible reviews, but people would watch it because the algorithm said so. Meanwhile, her show got great reviews, but nobody watched it because they immediately dumped it to the back end of Netflix.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was about
That's kind of weird. That's kind of weird. They have a marketing of Netflix in the show, and yet it's an HBO show.
I mean, you're allowed to mention companies in your fiction work,
but they literally show the logo and stuff like that. Isn't that, you have to pay like rights or something like that? I don't know.
That's
well,
considering
they probably consider the fact that all the Warner Brothers stuff is now ending up on Netflix because they're running out of money.
Maybe he's just guessing at the future.
Yeah, they had to just realize, well, you know what? We're going to sell off a lot of our shit because we're out of money, guys. We spent too much on The Flash. We don't know what to do. God damn it. Mm.
So earlier, Hope, you brought up the show feels unique. When as you're watching through in the first season specifically,
Yeah.
what was jumping out to you as unique? What was like really standing out as wow, this doesn't and what were you comparing it to that you were like, "Oh, this doesn't feel like, you know."
So I'm not gonna lie, when I first like heard about Barry, I thought it was gonna be similar to like a live action Archer.
Oh my god. Holy shit. Wait a second. Let me think about this for a second. Bill Hader as Archer. Okay.
Right?
I
I
could
love
actually see that.
I kind of fuck with that.
Like,
Yeah.
and that's like the kind of vibe I took from it when before I really knew anything. And that's what I was kind of expecting, like Hitman, but it was gonna be like a comedy, obviously dark comedy, but still,
Sure.
and like so that's what I thought it was going to be.
Oh no.
And like I go in the first episode is just like,
A dead guy in the bed, and Bill Hader just walks out of the bathroom.
and just, or the fact that like he just gets so wrapped up in this acting. He's like, it's like a
Mm.
l- it's so like overcorrecting of him.
It's such
it's
a
it.
such a
He
swerve.
feels a need to escape being himself by playing someone else.
Yeah.
Right. But the
Yeah.
thing is he
It's so left field
go
for an assassin.
right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in order to play a lot of the roles he does, he has to tap into being an assassin.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh
You
god,
know.
the way his teacher becomes the true villain by forcing him to relive his trauma over and over again in that class just for his own benefit, for
Mhm.
Gene's own benefit. That's so fucked up. That's
Dude.
so fucked up, dude. Why? Why? Like, what are you getting out of this? Like, it feels like everybody in that acting class is a narcissist in some way.
Yeah, it's really funny.
Yeah.
The movie is yeah, the show is dead set on
Yeah.
presenting like LA life as look at all these people that hate each other hanging out with each other.
We took a quiz online and we were all living in a bubble. You
Yeah.
know?
Dude, like that feels like one of those like YouTube crews after hours going to a bar. If you were to overhear their conversations, it would be something like that. Like I resonate with all that industry trauma around like really try hard people that have nothing behind them. Like when they go to actually start acting out their trauma on stage, they all have to like
Oh wait,
make
you
up shit because
you ate
nothing's
your
happened to them.
you ate your twin in the womb, or you believe your dad got abducted by aliens.
You're not understanding me. It was a horse on a street. I've never seen a horse on a street before.
Here, as to there. I mean, that's not really a photo of me because I don't have a photo of me, so it's not really me. But the point is, because my and that funny part is, she's like, I don't have any photos of me because my parents died and my house was lit on fire. But that's another story, and I'm like, that's the story you
Dude,
tell.
that
That's the
payoff,
story.
that payoff to the joke was so good. It's just like, oh my god, you could have ruled this whole thing if you hadn't like fixated on this one, the first thing that popped into your head.
Oh god.
Right. Also,
Jesus
well,
Christ.
her and the other actress in that show, they're from The Good Place.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. It was Janine and
Janet.
Janet. Yeah, that's right, Janet. Yeah.
Yeah, they really like flex their comedic chops in this
Yeah.
for sure.
Did you for this is for Jesse. Later on, did you know it was Bill Burr doing the voice of the pastor on TV?
Oh
In
yeah.
season
I caught
4?
that.
Yeah,
He has a very noticeable voice. Yeah.
I
Now I have something to look forward to.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you
I
get
mean, yeah.
it's so funny. I like Barry's arc across the last 2 seasons just puts him so out to pasture.
Yeah, it's where he ends up is so different from where he starts, dude.
Oh gosh.
So different.
he gets everything he wanted, and he never took the time to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
He becomes a professional actor. He gets the girl he wants. He escapes his abusive parental figure. He gets out of the business of being a hitman for a while, and he's still not happy.
And he becomes a Christian, and he can't stop fucking around. Isn't that
Yep.
so on brand?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Should we talk
God.
about the big thing for the last season? The big jump ahead?
Go for it.
Um,
Go for it.
yeah, I don't want to ruin too much. I think the impact of the last couple episodes is
It's such a
worth
drastic
watching.
shift from where the series starts.
It's worth
It's almost like its
watching.
own mini movie. It's its own like 3-4 episode epilogue kind
Yeah,
of.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. There's a resolution to the story that we started from episode 1, and then there's resolution to the characters, and that's
Yeah.
another, I think, example of how much the show really wears its respect on its sleeve. Like it's
Mhm.
pointing out some ugliness in the industry, but then it's also saying, hey, we're going to show you how to do it. This is how you
Yeah.
ethically bring in your cameos and talk about women in the industry. You have a bunch of women as your producers. Like
Yeah.
this isn't just Bill Hader. This is Bill Hader's idea that he brought to exactly the right people to perform on this kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I,
Again, a genuinely good guy
Yeah.
is just running the show. So yeah.
I was gonna say, like, speaking of the industry, I love when he's just dropping off Sally to her
And just
meeting,
gets a fucking job.
and he's like, "Oh yeah, so I have a callback with just the director." She's like, "I've never
What the
got a
fuck?
director," like, and then oh god,
He's just sitting in the lobby. He's not
just
even
sitting
doing
there.
anything.
He's like, "How tall are you?" And then he gets it. Like, yeah, that's 1,000%.
Tall, white, and castable.
I felt that so much.
I
The
love
fucked up
later
thing
on.
is that's actually happened before. That has
I know.
totally happened. Like there's many actors and actresses
That's
that have had that happen to them.
that's why I was like, I felt that because it goes more to the just acting, just any aspect of life. Just,
Yeah.
Your
uh,
appearance. How tall are you? Yeah. Yeah.
There's a scene that comes after that, when Barry is working on that character with Kusino, and it is a perfect metaphor for acting because it's about them trying to reach genuine emotional resonance with a character that's just there to eat shit. That's acting, buddy. That's the whole job. It is to because what they're doing there is it's not a joke. It's presented very jokingly, but it's not a joke. You take a character and you break it down scene by scene, and you
mhm.
find the core of what they're going after, and that was a real acting breakdown that they're just giving you, but then it's through the lens of oh yeah, this is like American Pie type. He's a jock
Yeah,
character. And he's gonna eat a shit pie, and it's bullshit. It's all
No,
just
he's gonna fuck the pie if it's an American Pie thing.
yeah, okay, there you go.
yeah,
Yeah, it's funny.
Oh man,
I
yeah, if only we had
get
Stifler's
it.
mom. Yeah,
Just tell your mom that we ate it all.
I just love that it works as this perfect little microcosm for what the acting process is, and it's just you go to a really real place to eat a lot of
Mhm.
shit.
Mm, yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's surprising how much I really enjoyed that show. I need to do a full watch through again. There's probably stuff I'd missed on the first watch
Yeah,
through.
watching back through, I definitely was the threads feel so obvious, honestly, through the first season where you're like, wow, they really pay off all of this by the end. Like
Mm-hmm.
even some of the stuff that Hope's mentioning there, it's not a throwaway that NoHo Hank wants to get a house for his guys. They do that. That becomes
Mhm.
a
Yeah,
plot line. And then that plot line ends up taking us to the end of the story.
yep,
It is not a hodgepodge show. They're really running these threads through.
yeah.
Yeah,
There's stuff in
every
Breaking
part's
Bad.
like interwoven.
Yeah, there's stuff in Breaking Bad that I would say you could excise that entirely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's stuff I'd be like, yeah, like the whole thing about Hank when he's laid up after having gotten shot and he's like buying rocks online. Yeah, we don't need this.
They're minerals. They're called minerals.
Why is this here?
They're
That
minerals.
was pretty
And-
bad. It was pretty bad.
And the moment that that he starts tracking down Heisenberg again, they just excise it and they just forget it even happened. Like, what was the point of that?
So bad.
Yeah,
Woof.
pointless.
Woof.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it sucks that we can't get to a continuing story because where it ends is like, oh, that's the ending. That's the end.
But again,
That's
like
the
we were
end.
talking before, we're glad where it ends. We don't want to drag it.
Yeah,
I really appreciate their wisdom in that, in stopping here, because now it's like, hey, give us another 4 seasons to something else. You know what I mean? Like a
Yeah.
whole new show, a whole new idea. Like they've proved that they can do it well.
White Lotus season 3 just started.
There you go. I've been watching Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and that's right after watching Atlanta. And so seeing Childish Gambino go like, okay, I did that. I'm done with that. Now let me move on to a new thing. It's, as long as they have
is Atlanta totally done? Is Atlanta completely done?
I think they're planning a 3rd season. I think they're like, or 4th season to wrap it up. But like it is intentionally winding down because it's in competition with Dave.
Oh, gotcha.
I gave up on watching Dave, honestly.
I don't want Jesse to hear this. Not this Jesse, my Jesse. I don't really like Lil Dicky very much.
He's fine. He's fine.
I like his show, but I don't like what he writes in it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you both diving into Barry. Just at my request. I'm glad. I can't wait.
What do you mean your request? This was my request, asshole.
I requested we all watch it. I appreciate that. I can't wait for Hope to finish up. I can't wait for those Discord messages. Like, holy shit! Yeah, I'm so
there's a bunch of holy shit moments in the final season. We're like, oh,
yeah, I'm sure.
Yes, there's a bunch of those. Yeah, I will say my favorite concluding arc is probably NoHo Hanks though. Just the way that ends.
I love him. I love him so much.
The way that wrapped up. Just
the final shot of him is
perfect.
Yeah. Perfect for the character. Like, imagine having that on your acting resume. Woo.
Mm-hmm. It's unfortunate this show didn't get any awards at all when award season came around because it just kept getting stomped on. Same thing with Better Call Saul. Like all these nominations, no wins because there was so much other competition going on at the exact same time.
Yeah.
We were in the golden age of television, and we're kind of getting out of that now because
Billy got Bill Hader got an Emmy for outstanding lead.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
What season was that?
That would have been. It says for Chapter 7, Loud, Fast, and Keep Going.
Oh wow, okay.
And then Henry Winkler won Best Supporting for Chapter 4, Commit to You.
Oh, so first season they got something. Okay.
Yep.
But it never got like best series or best limited series or anything like that. Yeah, there was a lot of competition.
Yeah,
the golden age of television. Yeah.
There's a throwaway for sound editing. I see here in later seasons for the Emmys, and then a bunch of noms. Yeah,
that's unfortunate.
Yeah, the crew was getting awards. Honestly, I dig that. I dig that there's no ego here.
Yeah.
They're like, just give the awards to the crew. Like, I think that's just speaking better of them.
Yeah.
Winkler and Bill Hader to get their couple wins. I wish it could have been for the last season instead of the first season because I think that it is earned, you know?
Yeah.
It was just time.
For where they end up. Yeah. Yeah, for where they end up. Yeah. Like, I mean, they were taking on Succession at the Emmys last season. It's like,
and Ted Lasso and...
Yeah. Lots of stuff on TV.
I was about to say, especially Succession. They were killing it.
Hard to beat out, man. Those when he dies. Anyways,
totally different show.
The last thought.
All on HBO though.
All on HBO, yeah.
Succession is Star Trek for finance bros. That.
Oh my god!
Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
Fuck you, Seth. That's it. We're done. That's it. We're done. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing it.
Oh my god.
They
God
invent
damn it.
technical finance term jargon to like pull the emotional plot along. That's all it is. I'll stop. That was for TikTok. I'll stop acting out.
God damn it. Fuck.
Oh gosh, I can't. I
Tell me I'm wrong
can't.
though.
So, what's our next episode going to be, guys?
Oh, great question. What is on the list for next time?
Isn't it on the Silver Globe? Isn't that the
I
thing?
think that's
Yep.
next. I think we're about to dive into a weird one. Yeah.
Yeah. Technically an unfinished movie. Technically unfinished.
Diving into
We'll get into it.
international communist film for you all.
Yep. It's a long story about how that movie got made. So, but yeah, we did it. Yes, we finished Barry. Hope you got 2 more seasons. You're really gonna enjoy them. That last season is really fucking good.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And best character ever. NoHo Hank. Best character ever.
Oh, I can already tell. I've been in love with him. I've been in love with him.
All right. Well, thank you. And good night.
Good
Good night.
night.